G'day guys, Carl from Happy Go Travel. We're back in the garage again, playing with the car. Today, we're gonna have a go at installing 1-inch body lift. There's no particular 1-inch kit for a Fortuner. There's no particular 2-inch kit for a Fortuner either. So we're gonna have to feel this out. What I did, I just got online, I found a manufacturer of the blocks, and I ordered the blocks. So we got these 1-inch, can't remember exactly what they are, HD, PEF or PE or something like that. So some high density polyurethane or, anyway, they're designed to be under the car, designed to be blocks. So now, as you can see, there's two different sizes. So on the Fortuner, the front body mounts use a 2-inch rubber, and then all the other 3 body mounts on each side use a 75mm rubber. Long story short, you need 6 75mm and 2 50mm locked up. Bolt wise, so the bolts were actually quite hard to get. So we're not getting an Imperial bolt, so this is a 1/2-inch bolt. So the body bolts that come out of it are an M12 bolt. So I believe they're 145 long. So you've got a little bit of thread. You need it a little bit longer. I believe these are 160s, 165, something like that. And then obviously these high grade hardened washers. The size of the washer is equivalent to the washer that's on the original bolts. Nylock nuts, because the gauge of the thread is a wider gauge thread. So we're just going to put nylocks on, and then we shouldn't have any issues. It shouldn't come loose. All right, so where are the body mounts? So that's the front body mount. Now you can see I've just got that mocked up. So drop the bolt out, put the new bolt in, put the 1-inch block there, and then just make sure I can get the nut on. So when you tighten them up, there's actually a collar that sits in between the rubber blocks. So and then that pulls tight, so that'll compress a little bit. Next body mount. So I've already stripped all these. I've already stripped all these back because I had to go and find what bolts we need. So there's a black plastic plug that sits in there, covers the bolt. So that bolt, that body mount, basically just in the footwell, and that's the body mount that everyone cuts to fit bigger tyres. So, yep, that one's easy to get to. The next one. So same thing. Really strip this out to see if they're the same size. So if you can see it up there. So basically back seats, same thing, got a cap over it. So you pull the flooring up, pull the cap, and you can see that's the hole there. So that's what the body mount's bolted to. The back one. I haven't done this one yet. So we'll pull the rubber, pull the plastics, and see if we can find her. I'm hoping with a little bit of luck that we can actually get into this panel without having to remove the seat. And the reason I hope that is because if I've got to remove that seat, I'm going to have issues with this bloody drawer. It's my lucky day. Righto. If you see that plug right there, that is where our body mount lies. So we'll pry that up and I'll show you. Ooh-wee. Now, good news, that one there, there's a locator in that one. So we should just be able to crack that one. So when you look under the car, back of the car, body mount, just there. Let's see if we can get this one off. If you've got little ends, this will be easier too. Turns out the bumper cut's a good thing. So I've got 2 locating bolts that hold this body mount in place. I've got to pull them out because the way the captive nut, the captive washer on the top of the body bolt sits, the body blocks it. So that's a slight dilemma I didn't see coming, but we will get there. So it appears my ratchet spanner's fallen apart, which wouldn't necessarily be an issue, except it is topped out on this bolt that I cannot get out. Looks like we're going to be jacking this sooner than I wanted to. There's a few things that you've got to be aware of, right? So, on, manual. So gear stick's going to be 1 inch lower, right? Will that affect anything? Hopefully not, but potentially yes, right? So that's one thing you've got to keep in mind, is that it might not sit right with the gear stick. Obviously any brake lines, fuel lines, earth straps, potentially anything attaching the body to the chassis. These do have like a not a spacer, but like a strap that hangs down over the tail shaft. And of course, something everyone forgets about, steering. So we've got to disconnect the steering joint. I'm hoping we will be able to get to it through the wheel arch with its rubber. Oh, there it is there. There it is. And we'll fix these clips up later. So you see them two bolts? We'll just loosen them off, because that is our steering shaft. Completely different to any other time you've jacked the car up. You will be jacking it off the body, not off the chassis. A couple planks of wood that I'm going to use to take the load. With a little bit of luck, we won't have any dramas. So, see how we go. Before I jack the other side up, I'm going to loosen all the body mounts on this side, so it's got something to pivot on, and it's not doesn't have a heap of pressure on it. You don't want to take them all off, because obviously you don't want the body to slide. So, and if it does move, at least this way you've got 4 bolts that are still in there. They're just going to be loose. Found another issue. Washer bottle is going to get in the way of this side. So we're going to have to take the washer bottle out. The front passenger. Pop that off. Bolt. That's probably the easiest one to get to. I think we're good to go. So yeah, we still to recover these bolts out of the back. 2 bolts in the back, which is going to be a pain in the ass. And of course, when we jack it, we're going to jack it off the body on some timber so we can do it nice and slow and control the lift. So before we jack it, we're going to have a good look underneath, make sure nothing's connected. This isn't going as planned. All these body mounts that we left half done up, we'll now undo all them and get all them out. One thing I am going to do, I am going to leave these bolts in while I jack the body, and then that way it'll just help keep it aligned. The 3 bolts that I have the washer bottle in, I just undid them. Push the washer bottle back so I get clearance. You know, it's a big job when you got to stop for a beer midway. It's pretty refreshing. I know, let's make some magic happen. So see, as you start to take the weight of the body, the car naturally comes up with it. Because you're taking the weight off the you're taking the weight off the chassis, and then obviously the suspension's still in play. Here we go. Alright. Starting to lift. So, bit of soap and water on that mount. Got the new bolt, got the body mount. Now I know this looks dodgy as it comes, but just keep in mind that the weight of the car is actually on the other jack, or the weight of the body, should I say. So this is just to give it a helping hand. Screw the mount in whilst pulling down, pushing up, and the whole process is just awkward as hell. So we get the old rigger's wrench, and hopefully, there we go, that's popped into place. What a bloody mission. Alright, painful, but 1 down, 3 to go. got some help, wasn't as hard to get out. And then obviously because the car's already jacked up, it'll block. Good morning, day 2. I know what you're thinking, this is taking 2 days. I just ran out of time yesterday, so today we're just going to finish it off, tidy it up. So, just want to adjust the bull bar up a little bit, get this gap sorted out a bit better. So where I left yesterday, all I did is I just tightened up all the bolts. So all all 8 of the body mounts, I tightened them all up. So basically all you do is you just tighten them up to reapply pressure to the rubber blocks and you'll feel that crash tube, so you'll know when they're tight enough. Other than that, we just put everything else back together. We tightened up the steering shaft as well. So I don't know if you can see that, but there was a lot less movement in the steering shaft than what I expected as well. So it only moved a couple of mil. I did take it for a drive last night. Now, where the bull bar sits compared to where the lights are, it's not that bad. You could get away with not moving it up. Actually, in all honesty, it doesn't even affect the lights, surprisingly. And obviously, the body gap is now bigger. So right now, we're looking at a 30mm gap. So looking over the front of the car now, all you see is the wings of the bull bar, the hoops over the headlights. You just see them poking up. We'll have to back the winch off. But yeah, all these bolts here, loosen them up, and then we'll just shimmy it up. So you can see there's movement there, there, and there. So it's got it. That's what I can see when I'm driving. So I can just see the tops of the spotlights and just see the tops of the uprights. So it's back where it needs to be. Righto, that's that. We got the bull bar done. So the alignment of it is pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So everything's all bolted back together now. That's a win. So overall, pretty happy with how it sits. The gap in the slider's not too bad. The bumper sits all right. So all in all, I think it worked out all right. All right, so the things I left to fate and that just worked out and I got lucky with. So the splash guards on the inner wheels. So they were a bit loose, they just pulled tight, so there was enough stretch in them for the extra inch. Now, the back bumper. So as you remember from my bumper cut, it's attached to the tow bar. So it just literally flexed it down. It's more taut, it works okay. The spare wheel, to get the spare wheel down, there's an alignment thing in there. All I did was stick the bar in and broke it. So it now lines up and can actually engage with it. Radiator, I didn't have to move. Steering, I didn't have to change the adjustment. I just moved a little bit. Gears, we can get all the gears. So 2 inch, you'd definitely be too short, but yeah, how we are now, we're all right. And bull bar, well, like I say, we've got to manage to get enough adjustment out of it. Whilst you can do the job by yourself, I don't recommend it. Get a mate to help you, so much easier. Definitely get 2 jacks, make sure you got some blocks to be able to jack it and manipulate it. Yeah, and don't force anything. So yeah, definitely that's probably the key with anything, lifting the body off. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right. So yeah, make sure you disconnect everything, but other than that, it worked out all right. I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions, so comment them below. If you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. And until next time guys, go travel.